Hi, everyone. I am Linda Wellbrock, the founder and CEO of Leading Women Entrepreneurs and the New Jersey Force for Change Awards for those who have made an impact during COVID. And we have such an innovative, special guest with us today, Mark Trudeau, the president and CEO of Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals. He is our Global Force for Change honoree. Welcome, Mark, and thank you for taking the time to be here today.
Thanks, Linda. It's great to be here with you.
Okay, great. So, Mark, let's start with telling our viewers a little bit about Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals.
Sure. Mallinckrodt Pharmaceuticals is a specialty biopharmaceutical company, and we're focused on the unique needs of underserved patients with severe and critical conditions, typically patients that are pretty sick but don't have many alternatives for therapy. So we really focus on that underserved patient population and really try to make a difference in the lives of those patients and the people that care for them.
Right. So this awards program was launched to really give recognition to those who are paving the new way in New Jersey during COVID. But you are actually making a global impact. I know that Mallinckrodt is headquartered here in Bedminster. But what has Mallinckrodt done during this pandemic to benefit people around the world?
Well, we've really tried to do our absolute best to make a difference in the lives of people that are afflicted by this challenging situation that we have with COVID. And we have operations in many places around the world. While our U.S. Commercial branded headquarters is in New Jersey, we have operations all around the U.S., Canada, some in Asia and Australia, and in Western Europe as well. Our headquarters, our global headquarters, is actually in London, England. We have biologic manufacturing operations in Ireland. So as you can see, we're really all over the world. But we've really focused in three different categories in addressing the crisis that has been put upon us here as a result of the COVID situation. We've been working closely with regulatory agencies to develop therapies that can benefit patients that are afflicted with COVID. In particular, one of our therapies has already been used in a number of hospitals, primarily in the U.S., but in Canada as well, to treat patients that are in ICUs that are really in desperate straits as a result of COVID. And so we've been working with regulatory agencies, primarily in Canada and the U.S., to introduce studies to look at our therapy, which is called INOmax, to be used in those particular patients. And we've been partnering with other healthcare partners. In the U.S., it's been with Massachusetts General Hospital. In Canada, it's been Health Canada and another company called Novateris to really develop new information that would benefit healthcare providers treating COVID patients. We've also done quite a bit in addressing the needs of our customers, and our customer service representatives have literally worked 24/7 since the COVID situation to ensure that our customers have access to our products. And then, interestingly, we've also been able to work with people in our communities to provide personal protective equipment, for example. We've donated ventilators in Dublin, Ireland. We've converted some of our manufacturing facilities to be able to produce hand sanitizer that we've then distributed to communities free of charge in the areas in which we operate. So we've really tried to take a comprehensive look at providing benefit in any way that we can to assist patients, healthcare providers, and our communities in which we operate around the world.
It's incredible to hear, just in this short interview, all the work that you have done to help, make the world get through this really challenging time and protect us, and to help find a solution to this pandemic, which has been incredibly scary. Talk to me a little bit about your employee base and some of the things that Mallinckrodt has done for your employees, because this must have been an interesting time for them as well.
Well, it's been a real interesting time, as you might imagine. We had already begun thinking about changing our operating model to facilitate more flexibility in employees' work habits, including providing technology, for example, to facilitate working from home and other remote locations. And that turned out to be a little bit fortuitous. In many ways, our activities have been accelerated as a result of COVID. But one of the things that we've really done, I think, is to engage employees in the process. We've got a number of employees that are focused on workforce continuity, and also ensuring that our products get to the patients that we serve. And so we've really tried to engage employees in that regard. The other thing that we've really taken a step forward on, we had good efforts previously, but we've really accelerated that as well, is to really focus on diversity of thought and input and making sure that we have an inclusive environment, because we're a healthcare company that services the needs of all patients, and therefore we need the broad perspectives of a variety of different people from around the world and representing different underserved populations, for example. So we've stepped up our activities there. But we also recognize that working in this environment requires people to think differently and may require different resources than they've had before. So in addition to some of the technology things that we've done, we focused on providing some services to employees, either online or offline as well, to help people understand how to operate effectively in a completely different environment, how to manage things like childcare, elder care, how to deal with stress. We've also been quite flexible on our benefits, for example, to ensure that, first of all, people feel secure about their benefits, but secondly, understanding that people may need different flexibility in the benefits that they may want to take advantage of now that they're working remotely. We have an interesting situation where a number of our employees do now work remotely, but we also have manufacturing facilities around the world where it does require employees to go to their place of business. It might be a manufacturing plant, it might be an R&D lab. And we've been very protective of employees and their families to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to ensure the safety of those employees and the safety of their families, because they're doing very vital work in providing these very important medicines to underserved patients. And we want to make sure that they're healthy and safe and able to do that. So far, it seems to be working pretty well. What I would say is that we're able to maintain our agenda. In other words, initially we were focused on just making sure we had business continuity and patients had access to our medicines. And what we're finding over time is that we're getting better at just maintaining things. And now we're starting to think creatively about how do we advance our agenda? How do we bring more innovation to the marketplace and take advantage of technology and some of the resources that we have to innovate more than just maintaining the business that we have. And that's kind of the next step. And I think employees are feeling more comfortable about that, given the fact that we have been able to operate effectively, it appears, in keeping the current business that we have operating relatively smoothly.
Well, I know that living and working in a pandemic has been unfamiliar territory for all of us. And it certainly sounds like you are leading Mallinckrodt in the right directions, and you've thought of all the different angles that needed to be covered, especially the safety of your employees. But what has it been like to lead a global company for you during this pandemic?
Well, I would tell you that it requires you to think a little bit differently. But what's very helpful is we've started with first principles. Our corporate mission is very patient-centric, and we've emphasized how important it is to maintain that corporate mission. A lot of our employees, for example, have come to the company because they're interested in and motivated by our corporate mission. and the patient aspect of that. It's very motivating to get up in the morning knowing that you're trying to make a difference in the lives of patients that are pretty sick and have relatively few options. So the first step in all of this is we stepped back and we said, what are we in business to do? Let's remain focused on our corporate mission to serve our patients. And then let's go back to our basic values. And we have really 4 basic values. We talk about things like patient centricity. We talk about collaboration. We talk about integrity, and we talk about innovation. And we've continued to emphasize those 4 values in conjunction with our corporate mission as a baseline to keep people grounded. But then we've really tried to ensure that people have an opportunity to be connected. Being connected virtually is important, but you can't expect that you're going to be able to operate in the exact same way that you did before through technology mechanisms. And so we've looked at a whole range of things to ensure that we have very good communication with people. We've stepped up the frequency. It's very important to have visibility of leadership, for example, and so we've done that in both live and videotape formats. We've opened up all kinds of new ways to ensure that employees stay connected with each other and continue to stay focused on our mission. It's not perfect, and I can tell you that mistakes have been made, and you try to learn from those mistakes and try not to repeat those. But I think that certainly within our company, there's been a spirit of, okay, this is a challenging situation. We all need to think a little differently. We all need to be a little bit more flexible. And I think that's actually led to a significant amount of openness to finding solutions that are different than we've had before, and making sure that we continue to stay focused on delivering value for our patients.
I mean, it's just incredible to hear you talk and to hear you describe all of the innovations and all of the values and the missions that are built around integrity and innovation. So thank you for being a pillar example of a leader, not only in New Jersey, but worldwide. I'm going to ask one last question, and that's a little bit more personal. So have you picked up any new hobbies during this pandemic?
Well, first of all, Linda, thank you for the kind words. It's much appreciated. And again, I really want to thank you for honoring Mallinckrodt in this time of challenge and change. On a personal level, I actually have had a little bit more time, ironically, to think about hobbies, simply because I used to spend a lot more time on planes traveling internationally than I do now. And given that so much of the work that I do it can be done virtually, eliminating that travel time has actually been a benefit. So I have a couple of children. I invested significantly in tennis lessons for them. Along the way, I didn't really learn how to play tennis, and now when I try to play tennis with them, they beat me relatively soundly. So on the sly, I've been taking some tennis lessons with the objective of becoming much more competitive with my children the next time I have a chance to play with them.
Sounds like a perfect plan. I might follow your lead on that one too, because it seems like a pandemic safe sport, right?
That's right.
Well, until we meet again, hopefully in person on November 8th, I just want to tell you that you're personally an inspiration to me, and I know to all of our viewers. And we're so honored to have you and Mallinckrodt as the 2020 Global Force for Change honoree, and we can't wait to recognize you on November 8th. So congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Linda. We look forward to being together on November 8th.
Great.